Hello, everybody. My name is TRG. I'm a guy that plays games while being lame, and something that I don't like when I'm watching shows is power scalers. You know them, you love them, or you probably hate them. But when it comes to power scaling, I don't know what it is, but it has gotten worse over time. So let's talk about that. So a little bit of history. When I was like not necessarily in the power scaling community, but when I was getting into it, just watching things and all that, and people talking about it and debating about it, people would actually go and like know what they were talking about. Nowadays, people just like don't really know what they're talking about, and then just make like a quick like edit thing to the point where like some of these edits just have like straight up wrong facts. Like there was a whole thing about like Tai Lung versus Uguay, and then they were like, "Oh yeah, Tai Lung is faster." Let's just ignore that Uguay literally like surprise attacked him, and then like was moving super fast in one of those scenes, while Tai Lung was just like slowly going upwards. But yeah, it's stuff like that where it's like the power scaling community is now just complete dog water, where a lot of people are just kind of like, mostly it's a bunch of aura farm edits now, or like a bunch of people that want like their things that they like to actually be more powerful than they actually are. To go a little bit further, a lot of people will take like one very specific feat that they probably don't understand the context of, they don't understand the actual powers of, and they know like maybe a little bit more lore, but they're kind of on the same level of like just a normal enthusiast or a normal fan. And then they try to make an assumption or like an assertion with it. And the problem with that is that a lot of the times it's like a super big attack that the person like drains their energy for, but they act like, oh yeah, that's like their peak performance. It's like, no, that's a desperation performance where like they're not caring. They're gonna die if that doesn't land. They're gonna die if it doesn't hit. They're gonna die if it only does like 50% of like the total damage needed to kill the other person, because they're just gonna be on the floor like as a husk. Like, let's take this. There's a person that I may or may not cover in the future, but they were talking about Warframe, and they were saying, why does no one talk about the Warframes that are like cosmic level? Why is nobody talking about the ship drives, which are like XY things? And it's like it takes you like 10 seconds to go to the wiki, and a lot of the stuff just tells you something completely different. And it's exactly as I said, the person didn't really actually understand a lot of the stuff. The person talked about the creation of Deviri, where like he tried to put the operator as a super high level thing, but that wasn't actually the like the drifter's powers. That was like the drifter that also had the reliquary drive mess up. Then also they were lost in the void and so on and so forth. And a bunch of stuff happened, and then the void made it with all that. It wasn't just like their powers. Another argument that they try to make was like, because Trinity is an embodiment of something, therefore like it is on conceptual level, but it's like the ability to change form is something that Warframes have been able to do. They're not and there's no evidence of like what he was talking about of it being conceptual. But like I said, the ability to change forms or do something and then appear back is not necessarily is not a that powerful, as it's kind of just shapeshifting, and B, other things have like that as well. Exactly like I said before, where the person didn't understand the actual context or information about it. And there's consistent examples of this, and this isn't something that's new, but it's definitely something that I see that deteriorated the like thing of power scaling. It's just really sad. Because like I said, it pretty much every single time now it's like there'll be something like new, or there'll be something where somebody is trying to play like ball for them and trying to like boost them up way more than they actually are. But like a lot of times like they're not. And the weirdest thing is that they'll die on their deathbed on like their poor interpretation, their poor information, their poor logic, and be like, "No, you're just dumb." Like, no, you just don't have enough information. I know I'm repeating myself, but like I said, this was like that usually was corrected back in the day, and I don't know what happened, because now pretty much everybody does it, and like there's not much correction, and like I said, everybody pretty much dies on their hill, no matter like what it is. Like the final example is like Sukuna versus Gojo, who are arguing who's stronger, but nobody understands that there is no actual answer, because Gege kind of like changes every single time you ask him. So it's like, yeah, that thing. But people that want to stand Sukuna will stand Sukuna, and the people that want to stand Gojo will stand Gojo. To clarify, I should also state like Heinen Sukuna versus Gojo. If you know the story, you know the story. But like that's a whole nother thing. But anyway, that's just me talking about what I hate when it comes to power scaling, because before people would actually do like calculations and understand like when certain things are jokes and shouldn't be taken as actual feats, so on and so forth. Like it's fun to take like the Toon Force characters seriously, but then when you have like Toon Force in like a serious show, generally that's just meant to be played off of jokes. Now it's like, oh no, that's an actual feat. But as always, my name is TRG. I'm a guy that plays games while being lame, among other things. See you guys in the next video.